Schmack-o-ma-gob, everybody. Hey, I got me. I'm sorry, every video I go, hey, I'm sorry I do that, all right? Woo! I just cut one. This is a donation from Liam Priest. The priest is back. Liam wanted me to do the Beatles, Abbey Road versus ELO with Out of the Blue. Now, believe it or not, the Beatles, I didn't get into the Beatles, I mean really get into them till like all their CDs came out in the 80s. It was the late 80s. They sold a box set. That's when I got the Beatles. I've always owned that Blue album, you know, the Greatest Hits Part 2, the first one's red. The blue one I've always owned, but I've been very casual Beatles fan. But I just got sucked in with all the hoopla of the Beatles CD and the box set. And it was a big wooden box set. I think I bought it like in 89, 90. And I got into the Beatles by buying all their albums. And man, you want to talk about a deep dive. I mean, I became a Beatles fanatic ever since. And I always say my favorite band of all time is 70s Priest. I mean, but that is my favorite Priest. 70s Sabbath and 80s Merciful Fate. Those are my favorite bands of all time. But the Beatles are the greatest band ever. I don't know if that makes any sense to you out there, but you know, I mean, it makes sense to me because my favorite Slayer is the Metal Blade stuff. But I know Rain of Blood is their greatest album. So, but ELO is a whole different story. I know I said many times that I got into music around 78 because of Kiss and I Want You. But you know, prior to that, I was only into movies, but I was very much into ELO and Kansas. Like I bought a bunch of, I bought this one, I bought a New World Record, I bought Ole ELO, which is a compilation, and El Dorado. And I've always loved that as a kid. You know, ELO was like my favorite band at one time when I was a little kid. And Kansas as well. So, the Beatles I got into much later, but ELO I got into as a little kid. And I love Out of the Blue. Now, I know these albums by heart, but I still took notes. Not notes, but I wrote down the tracks. Because I mess up a lot with these tracks by tracks. And there's so many songs here on both these albums that I figure I'm going to mess up if I read it from each album during the video. So I wrote it all here. So here we go. Come Together versus Turn to Stone. There's two real tough ones to pick on here, Liam. Two real tough ones, dude. And this is one of them. It hurts so much because Turn to Stone really is my favorite track on here. But I got to give it to Come Together. All right, the next one is Something, which is pretty much my favorite George Harrison song. With Taxman. Love it. I think it's a perfect song. And that one's going against It's Over. I love It's Over, but it's over for that because I'm giving it to Something. All right, next is Bang Bang, Maxwell Silver Hammer. This is the other tough one because it's going against Sweet Talking Woman. And I love that damn song. And I was torn. I was torn on this for a little bit. So I actually listened to both these albums today. And I'm listening to this Maxwell Silverhammer. It's such a whimsical song. I know I can't pronounce that word. Whimsical, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. But it's this little cute little ditty. But the lyrics are about a serial killer. Which is awesome. And I'm going to give it to Maxwell Silverhammer just for the contrast of the whimsical. All right, next. Oh, darling. I love when Paul goes off on that song and starts screaming. Against Across the Border. I dig it, but no, another one for the Beatles. Next one, Octopus's Garden versus Night in the City. All right. I'm finally going to give one to ELO. And I don't dislike Octopus's Garden, but I will say the version on Anthology, I'll take over this version. That's probably the only version on Anthology that I'll take over any song off Abbey Road. So ELO finally got one. All right, next one is I Want You, dun dun dun. I want you so bad. That song is so heavy. I love it. She's So. And it's going against Starlight. Cute tune, but no, not even close. Beatles. Next one is Here Comes the Sun. I love that song. Going against Jungle. Now, here's the funny thing about Jungle. And I was listening to Jungle today, man. When I was a little kid and I owned this album, that was the song. My favorite song. And I would play it over and over and over again. I remember, like, you know, I think side 2 of this album is the one I played the most. And I would, like, lift up the needle and start Jungle all over again. I don't like it as much anymore, but I do love it for nostalgic reasons. But I don't know. I was a kid. I was weird. I loved Jungle. I thought that was the best song ever at one point. But, no. And I'll even put Here Comes the Sun above it. Okay, next. Because. Going against Believe Me Now. I love that instrumental so much. And I got used to it from playing Jungle so much. It was the next track. And I love that song so much. Now, Because, I do not dislike Because. Don't get it twisted. Let's cut the deck. It's beautiful vocal harmonies. I dig it. But I'm giving that one to ELO. All right, next one is You Never Give Me Your Money versus Steppin' Out. Stepping Out is not winning. I'm giving that one You Never Give Me Your Money. Next one, Sun King versus Standing in the Rain. I'm giving this one to ELO. Now, I dig Sun King. I do dig the song, with the different languages. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful tune. But Standing in the Rain, man, that song, man, and it starts the second album. I've always loved that song so much. And when I flew to Oakland to see ELO, because that's how much of a fan I am, and that was like, 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, they opened with that song, Standing in the Rain, which was awesome. So I'm giving it to that one. All right, next song is Paul Stanley. No, I'm sorry, it's Mean Mr. Mustard. I read that wrong. Mean Mr. Mustard versus Big Wheels. I'm giving that one to Mean Mr. Mustard. And all right, next one, Polyphene Pam. She's so good looking that she looks like a man. Going against Summer and Lightning, which is a cool tune, but no, I'm giving that one to the Beatles. Another one for the Beatles. Next one, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window versus Mr. Blue Sky. There's 3 tough ones on here. This is a tough one. I love She Came Through the Bathroom Window, but I'm giving that to Mr. Blue Sky. Just love that song. So Beatlesque. John Lennon said in the 70s that ELO was the new Beatles. He was quoted on that. All right, next, Golden Slumber versus Sweet Is the Night. Golden Slumber is a masterpiece. It cannot lose, and it doesn't. And next is Carry That Weight versus The Whale. I'm giving it to The Whale because, number one, I love the instrumental. And number 2, Carry That Weight. I mean, all it does is carry that weight. As a song, it's not that good. But with Golden Slumber in the end, wedged between those two, it's awesome. But I don't think it's good isolated. So I'm giving that to ELO. All right, then we got The End. Versus Birmingham Blues. Birmingham Blues is cool, man. I do dig it. But The End, the whole band is going off. And just to think, that is the end of the Beatles. Their last track, on the album. And they're all ripping and Ringo with a little drum solo. It's just so beautiful. And the way it ends with, the love you make is equal to the love you take. And the lush orchestra. Beautiful. Wins. Now, there's a little, what I guess you could call a hidden track, Her Majesty, where I have a bootleg CD over there that has the final chord. Because, in the album, it just abruptly ends. Well, it does end with a bling. I love it. And that's going against Wild West Hero. And this is tough, man. But I'll go to sleep fine tonight. I'm giving it to Wild West Hero. Now, I believe I got the score kind of wrong because I didn't check mark Her Majesty or Wild West Hero, so I can be one off. But I don't know. If you're taking score, let me know in the comments. ELO got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Beatles got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if that's the case, then there's 14 tracks on these albums. If not, then I'm wrong. All right, everybody. Hey, Liam Priest, man. Thank you so much. You know, he wrote me saying, hey, you know, I want you to do Abbey Road versus ELO. I hope that's okay. He's like, dude, of course it's okay. I love these albums. I love these bands. And thank you so much. I love donations when people donate for stuff I know, you know, and I don't have to study, even though I did listen to both these albums today, just to make sure ELO will get some points because the Beatles are so badass. And so is Abbey Road. So thank you again, Liam. You rule. Priest! And if you'd like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. And please subscribe to my channel if you have not. So, stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gaba.